I'm going to share with you what I learned over the last 14 months to operate a fleet efficiently. Ultimately, the drivers that have to take these vehicles need to have confidence in the DSP that they work for, and that they have the confidence that the van that they are driving is safe to drive, or that when they have problems with the vans, they know that their company is going to take care of it. If a driver gets into a van and the same old problem is there, and they don't see anything getting done to fix it, they will talk poorly about their DSP and not be proud of them. So, the priority for the fleet is to instill confidence into the delivery drivers, okay? And having avenues for the drivers to report them, either through their DVIC, which is primary, or communicating through dispatch, if you have a dispatch or an information control channel. We happen to use Discord, and our drivers report freely whenever there's problems with the vans, and we rapidly create new tasks for those vans to track them. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you an insight into how we track these vans. There are a million ways to skin a cat, but this way we've found works best because it keeps everything in focus, and van problems that are reported don't get missed and don't become long-term buildup of problems. And the drivers recognize it. They see us fixing the vans, and we talk about fixing the vans to them so that they know that their concerns are heard, the vehicles are safe to drive, and that when they get in it, they're confident that everything's going to be okay and they're not going to get hurt. So I'm going to show you Asana and the Fleet Portal and kind of how we use the two, okay? So Asana is this awesome task management application. We've sort of cheated a little bit in that it is a database of tasks, but it is not a database of vans or vehicles. But you can cheat it a little bit and convert the tasks and their identification into objects which simulate a database. Why does this matter? Why is this important? Well, as you can see here, we have several different teams that make up the key components to our DSP. One of the main ones is fleet, because without the vehicles going out on the road, the DSP is not running routes, just as there's HR, okay? If you don't have the personnel, you're not going to be able to run route commitments, okay? So what we've done is, step one, we created a fleet inventory. And essentially what this is a mirror of what we have over here on the left, Cortex, okay? Which is the fleet portal. Sometimes the OTR team will refer to it as KIT, Kilo India Tango Tango, KIT. But we don't refer to it by that acronym. It seems to be an Amazon internal thing. However, if you click on My Vehicles, when you're on the fleet portal, that's administration, fleet. You land on the fleet dashboard, and then you can click on vehicles, and you have them ordered by name. We've named ours the first two digits of our DSP, so RX01, RX02, all the way to RX50. We only have 38 branded vans, so we go through RX38, and any new rental vans that we get, we keep the same naming convention, but in parentheses, we use the rental agency's vehicle identification number, not the VIN number, but each rental agency that you work with has a unit number for their van, and we use that when we name the van. So if you sort by the end, you can see we have RX50, which is our step van, and then you have RX49 with a weird number, and that is the rental agency's identification number for the vehicle, their unit ID. And it makes it really easy to name the vehicles. So when you get past your branded and you have to start getting rental vans, or you have a lot of vans that go down, you're going to be increasing the number of vans in your inventory, but you don't want to lose the core, which is your branded number 1 through, however many you have. In our case, it's 38 plus one step van is 39. Okay. So that is our naming convention. We do not mirror that in the fleet inventory in Asana. In the fleet inventory in Asana, we have the van name, RX01, and we only do branded vans in here. Okay, so we go to 38, and then RX 50 is our step van. It has a special parking spot, so it's got a different number. The rental vans will go in between 38 and 50. So 39 through 49 will all be rental vans that expand and contract depending on station needs and route commitments and Okami. Also, we put all of the vehicle information in here. So you've got the VIN number. I went through Accelerate and ePlan from Lease Plan and added the Geotab ID. It makes it really useful for finding the van. I also have another video on this if you want to learn how to find your vans out on a map where they are live, whether you have a Lease Plan vehicle or whether you have an Element vehicle. Both of them connect to Geotab, but just in slightly different ways. And as long as you have a list of, which fleet management company it is for that van, like over here in my fleet inventory, any of my dispatchers, myself, or the owner of the company and operations manager can go, oh, van 22, RX 22 is lost. We can't see him on execution. So we don't know where that driver is. So let me pull that up for you. Sometimes drivers will turn off their data because, well, they can't, function out there. So we have a driver who's turned off his data right here, Christian Gregory. Okay, and if we look in legacy version 1 of Cortex or execution, we click on Christian Gregory, or Jordan Payton's probably a better one. So let's click on Jordan. And you can see Jordan turned off his data well before he got in between the two airports here, where it's like a twilight zone and the data doesn't work very well. So this driver is expert pro out there. He knows to turn off his data and go back to current stop, and then he can operate that app with offline maps for the rest of the day. And he does not have to turn it back on. When he turns it back on, he starts having problems. Stations constantly hassle him about that. So we need to know his status. And there's no cell phone communication where he's at. He's literally on his own. Like when the astronauts went around the moon and they disconnected from NASA for about 2 minutes. Our driver's out there all day and we need to check up on him. So we access Geotab. So we know that Jordan, from our daily planner, is in van, let's go to today, which is Friday. And Jordan P is in van 21. So in our sheet, we keep Element as the fleet management company right over here on the left. On that screen, I put them there for just our scratch sheet for the daily rostering. And then in the vehicle inventory in Asana, we also have that avenue there. I mean, you could just search at the top for RX, 21 he's in? Yeah, RX 21. And then you can see that everything about RX 21 pops up. It's right there in the fleet inventory. So let's click on it. And now we can see all of the data that we have about that van, including a QR code. And you can see that this vehicle has a Geotab ID of 21007162. So I'll just copy that real quick, right? And if I want to go to the fleet management company, which we know is Element, we can just log right into Element's website. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go to Accelerate, which is Element's access to Geotab. And then just go to Vehicles, Telematics, Geotab. Now remember, we copied that number over here in Asana. And then we can go to the map, click on Map again. And up here at the top search, you can either paste the VIN number or that Geotab ID. And it's going to take us right to that van. Oh boy, look at that. Does this take a little bit of time to set up? Absolutely. I spent many hours creating this. But why did I do it? The purpose behind doing this is to allow others to move into positions or avenues of growth within the organization and reduce the amount of training that it takes for them to gain experience. Many people take all-star drivers who really have their wits about them and they're really efficient, hardworking individuals, and they bring them into the DSP operations team. And sometimes they struggle, sometimes they just take right off. but each individual has their own experience level as an Amazon delivery associate. So their knowledge is limited. By creating a system that limits the amount of information that they have to physically experience to learn, well, you can exponentially increase your productivity out of those people and spend less time training them, thereby saving a lot of money. Not everyone wants to work 18 hours a day. There's a few of us that are insane, but the average person doesn't want to work 18 hours a day. I know I don't want to work 18 hours a day. I'm just compelled to do so. I don't know why I was born like this, okay? But there's not that many people do that, okay? It's a small fraction of the population, the upper echelon, that work those insane hours, okay? So if you've got a dispatcher, could be a driver. Often Amazon recommends in the DSP operations manual you take a good driver who can answer questions that other drivers might have when they struggle out there in the field making deliveries, and they can call dispatch, and that driver, based on their experience, will be able to answer those questions. Well, what if you used Asana to create solutions for all of their problems that are searchable, right? Well, if you're doing that, then when the driver calls in, the dispatcher, who may not have that much experience in the area where the other driver's delivering, and they could just search for the problem in Asana, and you have a list of problems and solutions. Maybe it's a common problem stop, like a hub locker. Who knows? But if you create a platform similar to Asana, a task manager, that is searchable and compatible with the data types, the vans, people, etc. You can incorporate training video links. You can embed tasks with the training for how to accomplish that task. And then you can build task templates. And it's really cool. So let's look up this van real quick. Let's just double click on it, and boom, there he is. You can see he's at 18,327. So if we go over to execution and we look at 18,327, I believe that's right down here. So he's on 18,327 on the right side of the lake, right near the elbow. See that? He's on Blue Hills Drive Southeast. Let's go back here and we can see Blue Hills Drive Southeast. He is right there. So he's on stop number 87, I think. And he may have done them out of order. So he's been doing this route for a while. So that's how you use Asana to quickly find the vehicles and to keep rapidly accessible information about the vehicle